The governor of Delta State and PDP vice presidential candidate Ifeanyi Okowa has described the crisis within the PDP as politics. Speaking with newsmen after a visit to Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo at the State House, he says although it is not unusual to have issues from a competitive election, efforts are underway to resolve them.
It's politics. Obviously, after every election, you have issues. It's normal, especially in a competitive election. A lot of meetings are taking place, a lot of reach out is being made, and I believe that we're definitely going together in the next few days and weeks. But to expect that at the end of the election that everything just goes on smoothly, it's never so, and we understand that. It's not new to us, and I believe that they have been tackled in various ways.
All right, the Delta State Governor there, Ifeanyi Okowa. We're now joined by Arise analyst Waziri Adio. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. Well, you just heard the governor there, the vice presidential candidate of Atiku Abubakar, saying, look, it's just politics. You don't expect that after, you know, the events that have happened lately, especially the primaries, of course, that everybody will be on the same page. Is it really just a politics? And secondly, if moves are already being made to assuage, you know, feelings, especially the Wike camp that's come out very unhappy about the outcome of the primary, you would expect that somebody like a Samuel Otom would know that moves are being made to, you know, appease people like Wike and others. What do you make of all of that?
Well, it's as Governor Okowa said, it's politics. That's the arena of politics. Politics is the art of the possible. People always push, and when you have an election like this, very competitive, and the way the things also panned out, you expect some kind of pushback, especially for those who think that they have some leverage. The fact of the matter is that Governor Wike has some leverage. It's not just that he came second. He also is the governor of a state that's a major state for PDP. So they have to reckon with him. And I think, you know, any time you pick a running mate, there will always be issues to sort out. I think maybe there were two problems within PDP. The first one is that the prerogative of choosing the running mate belongs to the candidate.
Right.
You can use different means to consult, but you don't have to set up a committee.
Which
and
you
say
did.
yes. So if you set up a committee, you are already setting yourself up. And if you set up a committee and they came up with a decision that you don't like, courtesy and even the hygiene factor demands that the person that has been recommended that you are not going to choose, you are going to talk to the committee members to say, I have some reservations about this. And you need to talk to the person before you come to the public. But I don't think that was done. And I think that was how Wike feels that he was disrespected, despite the huge leverage that he holds. Okay,
so it is the prerogative of the candidate to pick his running mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you cannot wish away the party. That's what you're saying, that the party has a say in all of this. I want to go back to something Ngozi mentioned earlier. We've heard from Atiku Abubakar saying that, you know, efforts are on the way. Is to speak to everybody and make sure everybody's under the same umbrella, no pun intended. And then you also heard the vice presidential candidate, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, say, no, it's politics, but we are also having meetings to resolve them. Do you get any sense that, you know, these meetings are yielding, or these efforts are yielding any sort of direction, a positive one? When you see reactions from, you know, a Governor Otom, a Governor Wike, who is silent, and they say silence is golden at this time.
And Governor
Fayose, and of course the 11-man committee set up for the Osun State governorship election, where only a Governor Okowa showed up. What level, what quality of, you know, rapprochement should they be having, or do you think it's working at all?
It's clearly not working. If it's working, what will be sensing will be people whispering things and people not feeling okay and all of that. But this has gone beyond that. You have an Otom that came out publicly to say, you know, he was waiting on God to decide whether to support Atiku or not. And also that clearly Wike was disrespected. If things had been better managed, we wouldn't have gotten to this stage. And you also have former Governor Fayose also saying the same thing. You know, and you have.
In fact, he's gone ahead to say, look, it must go to
South.
the south.
Yes,
South,
and which is, you know, they have gone past that stage. You have had all the different consultations. You have had the primaries. So you can't reverse that. You can't be saying, you know, it's the turn of the south. But, you know, that is where they are. And Wike himself, it's not just that he's not saying anything, but he's saying a lot with his body language. Wike has become, not just the silence, he has become the most beautiful bride, so to say, the golden bride of Nigerian politics. Everybody is going to visit him because everybody thinks that he's available.
What are you sensing with these meetings with Kwankwaso, the presidential candidate of the NNPP? The Labour Party presidential candidate has visited him in his country home, or at his country home, if you like. Peter Obi, who you could say also is a man of the moment. You know, what do you make of all of this? And what would widening cracks within the PDP mean for the party going forward? Atiku has said, look, the unity of the party is job one, job number one.
Yeah, it should be. It should be job number one, especially because Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is running on the plank of unifying the country. So if you are saying you want to unify the country, the least you can do is to unify your own party. Obviously, things are not going well within the party. So they have a lot of work to do, which might really affect their chances. And to go back to what I said earlier, everybody knows that Wike is not happy and is available and is ready to be courted. And he wants to show the leverage that he has. And whether they like it or not is a major force to reckon with within their party. And don't also forget that the South-South and the Southeast, right, happen to be the stronghold of PDP, right? Southeast is in play, especially with Peter Obi coming from Southeast and the aspiration of the Southeast to produce the next president. South-South is also in a flux, especially with what is happening in Rivers. And Rivers happens to be like the place that returns the highest number of votes within that region. So I think they have the luxury of time in the sense that this election is not happening next month, right? They have 8 months but
a lot can happen in 8 months.
Absolutely. So. It can actually get worse. And like you said, look at Ekiti election. The candidate was not there to campaign for their flag bearer in Ekiti. Look at what they are doing in Osun. So if they lost Ekiti, if they lose Osun, and they are also not able to get their acts together, it seems PDP might not be able to offer the tough competition that people project.
Interesting. You know, we had the Atiku campaign spokesperson here yesterday, Shegun Shomi, who said, you know, there's just one side of the story that's been heard. Governor Tom spoke exclusively to Arise News yesterday, and he talked about 14 out of 17 going the way of Wike, and the candidates still went ahead to pick Governor Okowa. However, we do know several committees were set up on this matter of a running mate, and we do know categorically that at least 4 committees that were set up, 3 went for a Governor Okowa and 1 went for a Wike. So,
what does that say?
What does that say? And then, you know, former Governor Lamido say, you know, the PDP made a Governor Wike. So, you know, can he be more powerful than the party?
Yes, he can be more powerful than the party. But having acknowledged that, I think the candidate has also gone about this in a way that is not too tidy. Why do you need to have so many committees, right? And publicly announced committees. You consult behind the scene and you come to a decision. And it's your responsibility as a candidate, as the leader of the party at that point in time, to carry everybody along. Especially, it's your responsibility to identify those who would feel aggrieved and who have the capacity to hold the party, to reach out to them first. So this one, I say that efforts are ongoing, and all of that. He's not in the country.
Exactly, he's on vacation.
And there's also a history to this. Don't forget that in 2019, there was some kind of issue around how he picked his running mate that time. There was also some kind of issue around how he treated people working in his campaign. And the moment they finished the election, he jetted out of the country. So there's a lot that the candidate needs to look into himself about how to handle things better.
Going forward, how exactly can he patch these cracks in a way that the party can manage to get to 2023 elections and actually make a very good showing? And don't forget that Atiku, speaking about Wike's non-emergence, Atiku had said, look, I want a president in waiting, somebody who can step in if the opportunity,
someone presidential
shows up, someone presidential.
Well, you see, it's like I said, it's the prerogative of the candidate. You make your choice, you live with the consequences. But there's also a way in which you can make it easier for other people and for your party. Right. So what it needs to do, like what they did after the convention of the party, it's not just a matter of picking up the phone and calling people. People are clearly aggrieved. It's not just Wike that is aggrieved now. Wike is a major stakeholder. Governor Otom, right? And some others.
It's almost more aggrieved than Wike.
Yes. Otom is there, Fayoshe is there, and some other people. So it is responsibility to get back to the country and reassure these people. It's not just about committees and all of that. Sit down with them to say, I mean no disrespect, it might have come out in a wrong way. Please, let's come together, let's forget about that, let's work together and see how we can make a good show.
What does this say about Governor Wike, who had said, whoever emerges, I will support the party because the party is supreme? What does that say about him? Also, I want us to talk about the chairman mix in all of this, Yochayu. In the last 48 hours, there have been reports about him resigning or not resigning. We got a report from his spokesperson to say he's actually on vacation and he, delegated power to his deputy chairman. Well, how has he handled the situation as the leader, as the chairman of the party since he took over?
Well, I think, when he took over all the way to the convention, I think he did a great job, right? But maybe that was too much exertion on him, that he needs to take a break, which is, we're all human, but you have this stuff going on within the party, right? The candidate is missing action. The chairman of the party is missing action. And people are asking, is PDP ready? Right? So the signaling is all wrong.
And that's the question I'd like to ask. Do you think the PDP is ready? And even Atiku himself, don't forget, former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, only a few days ago said one of the greatest regrets he had was to pick, his vice president. How much of a setback do you think that is, even to his campaign, Atiku's campaign, and even to the PDP?
Well, I don't think that will count so much. Okay. I don't think he meant it in a negative way. He was just talking about his regrets. Apparently, they started well. By 2003, they fell apart and they married themselves to the end of their... But don't forget that in 2019, President Obasanjo actually, endorsed. They made up and all of that. So I don't think we have time, to know whether, he will come back to say this person shouldn't be considered and all of that. But it's also, even if he says that, we have time to find out if people actually listen to people in terms of, if I want to decide how to vote, do I need to go to a former president or seek his opinion to be able to make up my mind? But it's going to be, the good thing is that they have time on all sides for things to get better, for things to also to get worse.
And talking about people and reinforcing, I think what the Atiku spokesperson was trying to reinforce yesterday, and what they are trying to say is that there seems to be a notion painted that Governor Okowa was not popular, and Atiku made an unpopular choice. Meanwhile, there were more committees who went for an Okowa instead
of
Wike. So a lot of things are happening that we need to watch out to see in the coming days.
I don't think it's useful to get into who is more popular and who is less popular. What is important is that PDP needs to get its acts together.
We'll watch the space.
And be move as a team to the next election.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Waziri Adio, Arise News analyst.